Hello everybody and welcome back to Neurodiversity Support Podcast. I'm your host Annika, a local neurodivergent and neurodiversity specialist. And today we are back with another interview of a neurodivergent in South Africa. I'm really excited about today's interview actually because Carol is another one of the women in South Africa that has gotten a really late diagnosis of ADHD in their 40s, and she speaks about her journey of finding her diagnosis and how she was misdiagnosed with many other things and the long process of eventually finding out, oh my goodness, I just have ADHD. So this was a really interesting conversation, including how her children are also neurodivergent and how it plays out in her everyday life. So please have a listen and enjoy.
ADHD was never brought up because, it wasn't kind of really what they were looking at. And met a new man, got married, supposed to be happy. Then I was diagnosed. I went to the doctor, depression. I said I was crying for no reason, still just aches and pains and just not great. And I said to my doctor, she knew me well. I said, I'm not depressed. She took some bloods. Then I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism was to blame. Okay, carry on, try and fix those things, go on medication. That kind of eases it for a while. And then still just this, not quite right. I went to kinesiologist. Amazing. And the reason why I went, they do body stress stuff, like your body stores things and your body your body
stuff.
kind of
Yes. Okay.
She kind of does muscle testing and kind of intuitively figures out what's in your body and bothering you and you need to process. I went to see an amazing woman for that. And at the end of every session was my best thing. It was she was like a coach. She would give me a list of things to do.
Okay.
Which is my best. It's like then I had to report back. It's like accountability.
Yes.
That's what
So I'm going to show you how good I'm going to do this. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was really amazing. I still see her occasionally. She was amazing. Still just kind of have kids, have my first child. He was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 9. So I'm still kind of just, going along with life and haven't figured out, not on antidepressants because I'm not thyroid. Every time I feel a bit miserable or anxious, It's my thyroid. I go check my thyroid. It's maybe my thyroid is out and we try fix that, or my iron or bloods or other things. And then I have a second child. And I think that and top of COVID just blew the roof off of coping mechanisms. My youngest child was, it was difficult in COVID. He was little, being cooped up, and then extra demand on me, splitting my time, dealing with both kids' needs and activities and school, any systems I had, or managing to cope. I would forget things. Then it was just became too much, including starting to work a bit for my husband, for business. And it was just, I went to see another psychologist recommended by someone who I love. So I thought, this is going to be great. And I said to her, I told her my story. And she said, you know what? I think you are just depressed. I was like, oh God, I must just be depressed.
Not again. Yeah.
But I went to 2 sessions. You know what she also said to me? Motherhood is tough. Kind of like she just said, suck it up.
Like this too shall pass kind of a thing.
Yes. Just, deal with it. And she said, call me if you need to again. And I actually was drowning. I said to her, I feel like I'm treading water and the water is up here.
The panic.
Yeah. It was just...
Oh man,
and
I'm sorry.
Then I started just suddenly realize I started seeing depression ADHD misdiagnosed as depression on Instagram and a couple of places, and I was following that route. Things that I struggled with at home, like I was doing struggle care, spark joy, all these kind of things to try and keep organized or tidy and decluttered. It was, and just constantly finding a little way to help for a while, and then it falls by the wayside again. Yeah. And then I found an amazing book that I listened to, audiobook. It's podcast after this. And I found a book on ADHD in women.
Okay.
And
what was the book?
I listened to that. Suri Solden. I I can't remember the title, but Siri Solden.
Now I'm going to be Googling. Seriously? Okay.
But it is about specifically ADHD in women and how it is missed. And she follows the story of women and gives examples of how it's missed and how boys are diagnosed and girls aren't, and they just keep struggling. And so I found someone, and it take a long time to make the right decision, the right person to go to, a lot of research, deep diving, hyper focus on things, and to find and I found a psychiatrist. I had her number, didn't make the call because I'm like, oh, really? Am I making this up? So eventually, one of the things in the book, and of course I'm not going to remember it, but one of the things specifically that hit me in the book made me call her then and there. I stopped the car, I phoned and made an appointment. I was like, this is it. This is me. And I wish I could remember what it was, but it might come to me
later on.
But that was it.
Oh, and then you went to the psychiatrist.
I went to see the psychiatrist, and it was a journey. It was also not, okay, yes, tick, 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 these are you've ticked all the boxes. Because the boxes for the ADHD diagnosis is based on the diagnosis for boys. Based
on hitting the nail on the head there.
Yeah. So I went armed. I had this checklist I found on ADHD Attitude, one of the websites that was for women. I wrote a whole story of the things that made me think I was ADHD. And when I got there, I just broke down. I was like, please, I just wanted someone to hear me. I wanted to be heard. It was, So she listened.
I'm so happy that she did. You know what then? And I think this is why I'm finding it so acutely interesting, because 95% of the women that are now being diagnosed is in their 40s, have gone through a childhood of, like you're saying, that I was like, something's wrong with me. But I remember, I know it's not directly related, but it sticks in my mind always. When I had my first child, I was 23. And then they were like, is this your first child? Like, in the hospital? And then the one nurse said to me, the mommy always knows best. If your intuition says that's not the way, because I didn't want them to give a top up for formula or something like that. And that stuck with me, because she said to me, God made you to be that child's baby, so you are in tune with the baby, so the mommy always knows best. Now, you had the professionals tell you, but inside something's not lacquer, and that inner intuition is so powerful, I think, and I'm so happy you actually followed it, because I'm not depressed. It might be masked as depression, but it's actually the amygdala that's giving that fight or flight that comes from ADHD that then gets misunderstood as actually clinical depression, which is not the same thing. And the thing is, and if you listen to what you're saying, and I don't know if with your hyperfixation of reading many, many, many things, if you've made that connection yet, that many years they used to say girls had ADD, meaning that they're not outwardly hyperactive, but now they've changed to say there's just ADHD because the hyperactivity is internal. And you said when all these, your to-do list was too much, it's internal hyperactivity. Am I going to get this done? And that's why girls that sat still, were stille waters, seemed like they were super chilled, but inside, and that was kind of what was happening with you. Oh, I'm so sorry you had such a terrible rigmarole. You have whiplash from all of that back and forth. Shame. I'm sorry, but I'm happy that it
couldn't have been any other way, One of my favorite sayings at the previous studio was at one of the girls there, woman, it's so hard. I don't like lady, and I still feel like a girl. I still feel like a child.
Me too. I don't identify as an adult, honestly.
No, how can I be an adult? Really?
Yeah, the point.
It is what it is. It's hard to, it's not like I can't, I just try and remind myself of that, to be a little bit more. I have the negative inner voice, it's like, and all the things. While you were talking, I'm having a conversation in my head of something I'm remembering to try and tell you. Should I interject?
But you must have the finger method, where you're like, I want to say something, so you put it in, I have to say something, but then I can pin it, but listen. oh yeah, what was this guy? Oh yeah, I can tell you that thing. Yeah, so you just hold it. Oh, now there's two things I want to say. But then your brain feels like you've paid attention to that neural pathway by saying, okay, I'm going to pin it. And I'm going to, because it doesn't seem weird to do this in public. I'm holding my thumb, because you don't want to feel like a freak of nature. Like I've heard many people say those exact words because they feel like, but it's because you grew up in a neurotypical world. And especially your generation of childhood, the labels that came with it, the stigma is still, like I feel like a lot of you have a lot of PTSD still. Like the triggers that come back and you get that like flashbacks of, I don't mean literal PTSD, I just mean like the analogy to it. That when you feel, oh, I remember when they called me this in class or blah, 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 or I didn't want to be like that one that was bullied. So you don't want to be your authentic self because you're afraid that backlash is going to come. But I mean, you can just, that negative voice that you have, you can drown him out by saying, I'm not going to even listen to you. You can prune that neural pathway and say, no man, I have ADHD and that's okay. Or that's cool and that's me. Or, that type of a thing. You can shut him up. I don't know why he's a male. Yeah, bad people are males. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. She's probably female. But you can get rid of her. Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm seeing an amazing woman.
No, I'm sorry.
It is a process. Yeah. No, I found an amazing.
It's a long one. Yeah, so the woman that you're seeing now, was she helping you to deal with your...
I want to share with you and your listeners because I'm sure a lot of your women who you're dealing with have children who are on the spectrum of ADHD. And she actually has an Instagram parenting complex kids. That's not the actual one, but I can share it with you.
Yeah.
So she shares a lot of things about ADHD and being kind of the negative voice, but helps to parent. She's helping me reparent myself, be gentle myself, the negative, and giving me tools, kind of visual tools to help me deal with my children. I love them. And it breaks my heart when they're dealing with struggles with ADHD. But we also clash. My oldest son and I clash because we both are so stubborn and want to be right. So as much as we love each other, and it's that I know that kids often also hear the negative. Don't do that. Pack your bag. Why haven't you brushed your teeth? They hear that all the time. And I'm trying to soften that. And it's also a journey. I find it really hard.
Do you know it's the most, especially how old is your son now, the oldest one?
11, turning 12.
11. So the most valuable thing you can give him as a neurodivergent, watching mommy learning to be a neurodivergent, is the accountability of we trying. And when you try something new, you make mistakes. So that apologies and that saying like, this is a process, it's okay to make mistakes, so that you not only model the desire to verbeter, improve. So you're not only modeling the desire to improve yourself and learn the skills, but also the gentleness of self. It's okay if you make mistakes, and that will look like if you were overly enthusiastic when you were criticizing something that you did. You say, sorry, I overreacted there. I was just feeling a little bit nervous or stressed out. I apologize about that. I should have handled it better. So that they can see, okay, we make mistakes and that's fine. It doesn't have to be overly demonized. So that's, I think, more so than teaching him neurodivergent skills, that is the most valuable one.
Yes, the repair after the...
And repair yourself. It's okay, man. It's fine. We do better next time. Okay, let's talk about the family dynamic, seeing that we're already there. Let's talk about, is it you and your son we've established has neurodiversity?
And my youngest one has just been diagnosed. We were expecting it, but he literally just went. We got the report about 2 weeks ago from his assessment with the educational psychologist.
Yeah, so you got a whole team there. That's amazing. A whole team? You see, the thing is that people don't see it for what it is. And I joke about it that I think the neurotypicals want us to feel bad about it because they're afraid of the potential. But ADHD is literally a diagnosis to say your brain is faster and stronger than the average brain. And with that power comes great responsibility because it's difficult to rein in such power. Do you know what I mean? Like, That's why, and overuse the analogy of Spider-Man struggling to use his webs in the room, going, and his whole room being demakar, and then later on getting a hold of it, and he's a superhero. That's kind of where you are now, is figuring out how to use my power, but it's powerful. That means your brain can work faster, stronger than the average brain. And I think the neurotypicals are afraid of that. So the diagnosis should be something, oh my word, congratulations, your brain is stronger and faster than the average brain. That's amazing, not, oh, shame. You know what I mean? Like, it's an amazing thing. Now we're going to hone it in. Now we're going to figure out what we're going to do. So now you're a whole, like the Incredibles, a whole family of superheroes. And your husband?
Yeah, my husband is dyslexic and has a learning disability, but I've told him recently from my discussions with my psychiatrist, obviously she can hear, obviously I'm telling her situations and she says, I think it's more than likely that your husband is also ADHD.
Yes, so I was going to unpack to see where we could go with that, because dyslexia is a lonely learning disability. She doesn't normally stand on her own. And most of the time she marries an ADHD. So I'm dyslexic and ADHD. But dyslexia is pretty cool. I think I find a lot of entrepreneurs being ADHD and dyslexic, because dyslexia means that you tend not to think in the patterns. And lots of people think it's just like mispronouncing words or swapping numbers, but it's also concepts that get swapped around. So then, like when they say think out of the box, I am thinking out of the box. In fact, there is no box in my brain. And so dyslexia is also a really good thing to have, because it means that you're not confounded in this like linear way of thinking, which is a really cool thing to have. So congratulations on that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about, yes ma'am, I'm interrupting.
No, it's incredible to see for both my son, the one who was diagnosed, is at risk for dyslexia. It's very early, but the educational psychologist did a really good, thorough assessment, and he is at risk. And him and my husband, I've already noticed they have a similar way of, the connections they make are incredible.
Yes.
That we wouldn't see. And it's like, they clever, funny connections that I love. I love that about my husband. He comes from left field.
Yes.
And it's amazing. I love it.
This is why I don't love the terms that the psychiatrists use, because you're not at risk. It's not a risk. It's not a bad thing. It's not a danger that's pending. No. It's like there's a potential to be diagnosed. Because it's a good thing.
You're right. That's a good way to look at it. Because the brisk part is in a CAPS curriculum, which we have. He's just going to struggle with those things, with what they expect from him. Yeah.
But even so, having said that, CAPS have woken up a little bit in that regard, so they do give concessions to help children mitigate that, scribes and things like that. So even so, it's in no circumstance should it be seen as a risk.
Yeah.
So just telling him from the get-go, like, man, you're not at risk. You have the potential, and we're so excited to find out. And if you're not, oh man, that sucks. So then that like dialogue shows them this is a good thing, this is desirable, so to speak. Not in being so positive that for other people it feels like you're minimizing the struggles that come with it. Because sometimes people don't like too much positivity because they're like, but it's a struggle. Yes, it's a struggle. But having something so powerful is difficult to figure out, but it is an amazing thing. It is a positive. It can become a positive. Because then from a young age they'll see it as something, as this potential that they have, that they can unlock and use in a different way, instead of trying to fit the mold of the neurotypical world, which is never going to happen, because you can't knock a star into a square, because I think we're all stars with sparkly ends. Okay, so let's talk about as the family of neurodivergents, so then we are all a family of neurodivergents, what do you guys do to have fun?
It's very tricky because my kids are 6 years apart, and both strong-willed.
And mommy strong-willed. I wonder where they get that from. Yeah. So there's like,
very
I
occasionally,
want to do
I remember
this.
that.
Yeah.
And then I curse myself. But, we sometimes struggle, to be honest, it's a struggle to sometimes get them out the house, to go for a walk on the beach or go to the beach and have it. But once we're there, they love it. And we'll go walk on the dunes or walk on the beach where we live. It's nice and close. So because of the ages, it's quite difficult to actually all do something together, to be honest. But we'll often my husband will go take my son to the skate park and I'll do something with them. So we sometimes still quite split. With a 5-year-old,
divide and conquer.
They're doing different things. Yes. But when we are together, it's generally a walk on the beach, go get an ice cream or coffee and build a sandcastle, those kind of things, which we all love. Being outside is what we need to do, even though they don't always want to, because they both love the screens so much.
Of course. I wanted to ask, so your sons and mommy being ADHD and potential retarded too. We're just going to pretend daddy's ADHD too. But, and I think you're going to find that diagnosis probably soon. But how do you manage the different hyperfixations in the home? Is that a dynamic? Like, I want to everything Minecraft at the moment, and then expect mommy to buy $10,000 of Minecraft things, and it's laying everywhere, and then now you have 3 ADHD hyperfixations littered through the house.
So my little one is Lego obsessed, and he plays with all his older brother's Lego. There's Lego behind my phone over there. There's Lego and train tracks all over the table where the adults are supposed to be. So it's hard. My son is very much older, into his gaming and all of that, and he puts his earphones on and he shuts down a little bit, and he does that. That's like his. But yeah, we it's struggled keeping it all together and not having the house a mess, and I kind of try to let it go sometimes. But yeah. Luckily, my older one was a bit younger. He didn't want the little one to play with all his Lego, but I think he's just given up with that fact because he doesn't really play with it like he used to. But this little one builds up a storm. And yeah, Adam, he goes through stages of scootering and then being outside on his scooter trampoline. Best thing ever for any mom with an ADHD kid. It's like a scooter without wheels, and it's soft and foamy. You can jump on a trampoline with it. Gets out so much energy and get that kind of pressure from being on the trampoline and doing tricks is like that hits the dopamine. So it's not just jumping. Best thing ever.
I 100% agree. Now, that is, we've bought our children an elaborate jungle gym and all kinds of things at home. But the trampoline, best investment. They on that thing more than anything else, because my children are homeschooled, so obviously you want to give them some extra things to keep them occupied at home. But the trampoline, but you are accurate about it's a stimming sensation as well, and the exhilaration from flipping and is giving dopamine, so it's hitting all of the ADHD markers. I agree with you. Best parent advice: get your ADHD child on the trampoline. Yeah, and on the other hand, the younger one is not. It was interesting. My older one, if he wanted something specific, it was very sweet. Like when we were trying to get rid of his dummy, taggy thing, he wasn't quite ready. And one day, so we tried it and it didn't work. We put a present there. We wrapped it up for the dummy fairy, and he said, well, he wanted a dinosaur truck. I was like, oh gosh, okay. Where am I going to find a dinosaur truck? Anyway, found a dinosaur truck, but he didn't want to stop. But the thing is, he always was like quite specific he wanted to, and somehow I would always manage to find just what he wanted. I think it was like also with him, it was an intuition thing. Even before we spoke, and he was trying to ask for something, it's like I knew that just like sometimes he still walks into the room and he says, "Mom, can I ask you something?" And I'll know what he's going to ask me. I just we connect to that. I got you.
But the younger one. Yeah, I got you. I know what you're going to say. And he's like, but my younger one loves things like little Shopkins. So I am a fan of Facebook Marketplace. He doesn't mind secondhand. Boom. I've found incredible things like that. So we haven't bankrupted ourselves in that sense, but he has a Playmobil fixation, Lego, Shopkins.
Okay. I don't know what Shopkins is. Oh, is
Oh
it
my
that
gosh. They're these tiny
magnetic
little,
stuff? Is it that?
no, oh no, we got those too. No, they're these tiny little, there should be one around here. They're little, they food things, but little made out of plastic with eyes, and they're little kind of characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that, but I think the key thing that I'm
Plays with
asking,
them. Yes.
is the
Oh, sorry.
imagination, and they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He
cute.
mixes them with everything, and
Sweet.
it's
But what I want to highlight for you, and I think that you're doing an amazing thing, is that you not give in is not the correct word, but you accommodate and you entertain their hyperfixations. Because sometimes people think, oh no, you're being, what's the word? Where they think the children are dropping things and not following through, and then they want to force their child to follow through, to teach them commitment, or I don't know what. But the child's simply ADHD. They're not being ungrateful or spoiled, you know. And that's why I like that you said Facebook Marketplace is wonderful, because when they're done with the hyperfixation, sell it, and then get other things. Because unless you have like your older son that wants to also hold on to things, then it's a. But you're doing a good thing for them to say, like, the dopamine is important for them, because otherwise they crash. And then when they crash, then they get misdiagnosed with depression, like you, when you were crashing because you weren't getting the dopamine. You weren't having the exciting new experiences. So you were literally just lacking some dopamine. So, and the hyperfixations give us dopamine. So I'm happy that you're doing that for your babies. It's an amazing thing that you're doing for them. Let's talk about meal times. Do we have any food aversions, or is everybody happy to eat? Oh man, I thought we were going to have a magical moment at supper. Let's talk about how do we feed all of the neurodivergents.
The younger one, because he's younger, always eats earlier. He's a completely different eater, but at the moment, he used to be like great, but at the moment it's what every ADHD mom knows.
Nuggets and chips.
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Nuggets. But he won't eat chips. He doesn't eat chips, except from one restaurant. One restaurant he will eat chips from.
Which restaurant?
A local in Hart Bay. It's not a chain. It's just a little lovely place here where we live.
Okay.
He eats their chips.
Why?
But
is it
he likes carrots and cucumbers. I've tried to replicate. They're skinny and they fry them, but I've tried. For the older one, also used to be quite specific. Mm-hmm. He is still specific. If I cook chips, he has to pick out his own chips. Generally,
what's he seeking?
Dried mango. I haven't figured it out.
Is that picking out the crunchy ones?
In between hard and soft. Not, if he's chicken, if he's some chicken is too crunchy, he leaves the very hard bits. But the chip has to be just right in between. And
so when he picks it, does he like squeeze it a little bit?
Yes, of course.
So he's seeing.
Right,
yeah. It's like when you push a stick, you're like, okay, this is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Now I understand that, because he wants a crunch, but he wants it to be soft in the middle. Okay.
So my older one is getting better, trying new things. He's better than he was, and he will sometimes go to friends now, and and when he goes to friends for a weekend, it's like I'm still at the stage where,
are you okay?
I tell the mom he's a bit of a fussy eater, so I just always, can I send this? Can I send this? What are you doing? And then we kind of make sure, because if he doesn't eat, the hang.
Foodie. Yeah, talk to me about your food aversions.
Oh my gosh, I think I've done very well. When I was younger, my mom used to do me a special thing without this.
Oh, that's
kind. Buy me special cereal, and I just thought it's because I was the youngest. I was spoiled. But I think I realized it was because, I was fussy, I grew up vegetarian. So.
Still?
Yeah, I'm not anymore. I'm the only one in my family. I'm not vegetarian, and I like a nice piece of steak. But I only really have aversion to parsley and coriander. I
like coriander.
It's a love-hate. To me, it tastes like dish soap. I eat it cooked, not raw. Don't eat it
No, not raw. That's too strong.
I love food. It's a bit of my dopamine thing, actually. Food is my
good.
Crunch. Often, crunchy chips is my downfall. A packet of chips, and it used to be a Coca-Cola like that.
Oh, so you
the
want
combination?
But I mean, you can do some flip outs though. Healthy, you can do popcorn. You get the same crunch. Okay,
Sparkling water.
Yes, I was going to say sparkling. Clever.
Soda stream now.
Clever.
Yeah.
Because then you're still getting the fizzle. You're not.
Yes.
You know, sometimes ADHD people think they are craving the snack or the flavor, but you're actually craving the sensory input. So you want the or the fizzle feeling. And that's why a lot of ADHD younger people tend to smoke. And they don't realize that it's not because I want nicotine, you want the burn. And they're the ones that you watch that they suck on the thing way too much and like, why are you doing that? But it's because they want it to burn. Then just swap it out for something healthy, sparkling water, something different. It's just the sensory input that you're seeking. Okay, and now I want to talk about how you dress them. Do we have clothing aversions?
My older one, when he was younger, used to not like labels. And he wants his things soft. Like he's not a big fan of jeans. But because they're cool, he's trying, but we have to try them on. Okay. He has to feel them. I can't just buy them and he'll wear them. Yeah. But he loves tracksuit pants is best. Soft shorts, you can find those. They make these amazing cotton ones now that stretchy tracksuit material shorts. That is his best.
I always say Pick and Pay clothing is the best for boys. Like they have that soft little brookies that the boys like. Yeah. Exactly. And it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Yeah, Pick and Pay clothing.
Shoes has always been an issue as well. He doesn't like wearing shoes. I mean, he prefers to be barefoot as a youngster and still now. But obviously he's got better at that. But buying shoes for school shoes used to be such a problem. The green cross were like the softest, but even then it was like, mommy, they're hurting me.
It's the socks. The socks are revolting that they have to wear the fabric. Oh, like I'm getting nauseous thinking about it. Is that... I don't know.
So do you have a little thing about socks?
I have a thing about my feet. So I'm bare feet now. I'm always bare feet. Always, even in winter. I hate shoes. And the thing is, and this is the weird thing, so all my children then are also the same. So I have a no shoe policy in my own because we're always bare feet. So I don't want you trekking in your dirt and then we have to walk on it. It's gross. But what was my point though? Where was I going, Carol?
We were talking about the socks and the clothing things.
Brew?
The fabric of
it's gone. It's gone, Carol. Nah, I can't remember. Nope. Oh, this was because from a young age, and my mother just allowed me not to wear shoes. She was like, okay, whatever, she doesn't wear shoes. Like even to church, like when the children have to be perfect, and she let me go bare feet. She was like, so I do the same with my own children. But because of that, my skin of my feet is very, very sensitive. So I can't. If I get a new pair of shoes, which I loathe, I hate getting new shoes. I give it to my mom to wear for a while, so that she can stretch it out. So when I put it on, it's snug. Because she has a little bit of a smaller foot than I do. So she's not going to imprint her foot into where my foot must be. Because if that, when you put on somebody else's shoe and you can feel, then that's also like, So she just does enough to loosen the edges for me, which helps a lot because I get blisters easily and I see the same thing with my children. So when they say it's hurting, I say then take it off. And I had to teach the people around us, if they give the children gifts, don't give them clothes. You don't know what they want. Now you spend 350 Rand for a dress and my daughter says, it's scratching me here. And then I say, okay, it's fine, take it off. You don't have to wear it. Then they get cross with me. They're like, oh, you're going to waste my money. I bought it. But why did you buy it? I didn't ask you to buy them. Buy them books. Don't buy them clothes. So just the balance of teaching those around our children to respect their needs the same way we do is very difficult. That dynamic. Yeah. I know you have to go. So I'm going to love and leave you. I'm going to allow you to go and we're going to catch up with you another time and then we can do another discussion. So consider this part 1 of Carol. But I think it's the ADHD thing. We'll just talk forever. and
we would, absolutely.
yeah, I wanted to just mention before you go how funny it is that I did mention to you is that when we have to do the calls, how everyone's a little bit late and everyone's struggling with technology. But I think the key thing, the beauty of the community is like, I get it. Nobody was even upset. It's like, oh no, that's fine. I'm late too. Super chill. And I think that the beauty of this community, of us understanding each other, is so beautiful. So that's what I'm saying. We understand you got to go. We'll do part 2 another time.
Awesome.
It was so nice to have you, Carol. Thank you for being here. You are so interesting. And then we will catch up with you in 2-3 months or so to see where you are.
Awesome.
Oh my word, that was such an interesting story with Carol. Do you know what we were speaking about? How her being ADHD, me being ADHD, having to join the call and getting this wrong, coming late and not figuring out technology. And the beautiful thing is both her and I were just unapologetically ADHD, and nobody was upset and nobody was feeling antsy. We just understood each other, and that is what we want for the community of neurodivergence. I think Carol's dialogue, her narrative of being misdiagnosed with this and misdiagnosed with that or misunderstood is the feeling that many neurodivergents in South Africa have at the moment without realizing they're actually neurodivergent, especially the women in South Africa at the moment that are feeling like they're drowning, that simply need one conversation with the right person that they can find their true actual diagnosis. And I think her story is a beautiful light that can shine to help many neurodivergents of South Africa. And I thank you for listening to it. Now, if you would like to be a part of our neurodiversity community, we have a community that we've created on Facebook in a group called Neurodiversity Support Group. Now, if you'd like to join that group, go on and join the group, and you can indicate that you'd love to share your story, or you could read about other people's questions, ask questions, and the specialists that work for neurodiversity support can help you out with any of your problems. So join our community there, where we are unapologetically, happily and proud to be neurodivergents of South Africa. Thank you for joining us today, and meet us again here next week. Bye.